So it is day 4 of the Shadow Memories Bakura event, and finally he is now unlockable, and they've been doing some really cool things with the event. We've got the Destiny board, and this is kind of like the Declan event, the Duke Devon event, when they use this kind of format to give you certain things to do. And in this event, it's specific missions based on the clothing of the duelist you want to be facing, so it's a cool little neat extra that just makes the event feel more fleshed out than it actually is. But let's go on to the important thing. DSOD Bakura in Duel Links, is he any good? Well, first of all, let's go and do a quick ticket count, see how many we've got. We've got 1, 2, 3. We have 3 tickets in his character. Of course, that is a lot less than Anna was, but more than we kind of expect, right? Because tickets aren't really good for old players, right? For new players, they're fine, but they're giving them out in so many different places now that they feel really, really redundant, and just like they're padding out, not giving us cards, when they could give us literally anything that's brand new, and have the community, the player base, feel a lot better than just getting tons of tickets at this point don't mean anything, because the card pool in the tickets are not unique. If there was cards you could only get in the tickets, right, then that'd be fine, but there isn't. It's all just ones you can get from your gate drops. So that is like one of the main downsides at the moment to Duel Links, is they're going kind of all in on giving us ticket cards that realistically aren't going to be of much use to anyone. But now let's go through his brand new card, starting off with the Mask of Darkness. This is not brand new. This was only available at 1 copy from Loomis and Umbra back in DM World, so getting a second and third copy is really good. The problem is we're getting 1, 2, and 3. So we now have 4 copies we can get, and that's technically now a wasted slot of a card which could have been something else. So far, 2 kind of strikes for Bakura. It's cool we're getting a card we can only get 1 of before. It may not be all that great, but still, it's a cool thing to have and kind of makes sense. Then, Dark Ruler Hades. Again, a very, very similar situation. We're getting 3 copies via Bakura, and we already had 2 of them available via Yemi Bakura in DM World. And also, if you're an older player, it's been available in login campaigns at least 2 times since then. So, what they should have done is given us 1 copy, and then something else. I don't get it. Because Konami wants you to be playing this game, and cards and gems are the only real, apart from skills, right? There are real reasons to level up characters. But if you're taking away certain cards from other characters that aren't even chase cards, aren't even, any good, then that takes away a huge part of what is making Duel Links, right? And a huge part of the experience, like the tickets as well, is taking away farming at the gate, which is something that you do need to do to get cards. It's just like, it's taking away everything that Duel Links has kind of been for the past 4 or 5 years. But then, we get on to the good stuff. We have 2 copies of Zomeless Spirit. This is a generic trap monster, level 4, comes at 18 attack points, but also, if it's destroyed by battle, you then deal damage equal to half the attack of the monster destroyed it. So you can use this as a very cool, very cheesy win card, right? You can summon this, crash to a very big boy, and hopefully deal 2000 plus damage to end out the game. That's an easy strat. And I think you would just straight play this in a trap-based deck. I don't see why you wouldn't. And also, we're getting, I'm very happy about, is 2 copies of Summoner's Art. Add 1 level 5 or higher non-monster from your deck to your hand. Of course, going to be very good with the brand new Clifford cards coming in the new mini box, right? 2 of this makes it so you can open Scout like 82% of the time, I think it is, which is your pay under search card, so that's going to be very, very good. But, even bigger, not really, you now have more copies of Dark Magician in your deck. You no longer need to play that level 4 dragon that searches in the turn. You can search during your main phase, summon up Dark Magic Veil, go for, I don't know what you could do turn 1, but this gives you more options, right? For Blue Eyes as well, but Blue Eyes don't really need the searcher. I mean, DM don't really need it either, but it's still not a bad card. One of the better generic level up cards we've had in a very long time. Like I think the next best level up card we've had in general was Ostinato for Melodious back in September. So that's just very good to see. So overall, reward card wise, it's kind of a mixed bag. 2 very cool, unique brand new cards. I like them. But the rest of them are reprints you know, one of them more warranted than the other, but they're still taking up slots that could have been, and of course the tickets are kind of shitty. But they do kind of open the door, right, for level 40 Bakura. Whenever we get a DSOD level cap, right, for one more Zoma and one more Summoner's Art. Very, very easy for them to do. I would not be surprised if we see that coming sometime soon. Maybe June or July-ish, I think. I was kind of hoping it would come around with this, and this would be like a big push for a brand new set of DM cards. But sure, it is what it is. Now onto the skills. We have the first skill he gets, which is White Magician's Defensive Spell, which is god-awful. It's a randomized buff, or decrease, sorry, for defense of your opponent's monsters, and it's once per turn, twice per duel. It's dog shit. We have Shining Shield, which is also dog shit, because it is again a high risk, high reward card that is basically a threatening roar for certain monsters that are of a higher level than the die you roll, which if you end up, you know, like most monsters, right? Oh, wait, I just realized. We're in an Exceeds heavy format. This only works on levels. So this isn't going to really do anything, because most of the time they're going to have a big chunky Exceeds out that isn't going to be affected by this. So again, that is terrible for another reason. He does get, however, Fiend Farewell, which is cool to have another character on, and Master of Rites, our first DSOD character with this skill, which is good for ritual decks. That's really, really good. He also has some brand new skills in building a diorama, which is one of his better skills, honestly. It's a straight buff for ritual decks. During a duel, when you ritual summon a ritual monster which is level 8 or higher, add one field spell card from your deck to hand, then return one card from your hand to the deck. This can just get you Necro Valley, which is crazy, right? You can sit there, summon your level 8 boss monster, and then, oh, I'm just going to pop a Necro Valley from my deck, and then you can't use your graveyard. So, Phantom Knights players, you better hope you opened your MSTs. Now, it does only work with a deck with 4 ritual monsters and 4 ritual spell cards, which means you can't play a Megalith, which is whatever. And I think the only 3 good options for this is in the Demise and Ruin deck, right? Or Necros, or there's one other. It's not Gishki. It might be Gishki actually. I think it's Gishki. Are the 3 main decks you can play this in, which I think of all of them, I'm guessing Necros is the one where it fits in the best, right? Because Gishki, they have their spell card that returns back to the deck in the graveyard, which would be turned off by Necro Valley. So you don't really want to be playing it in that sense, but this skill is great. A very, very good skill that will hopefully keep Bakura being unique and seeing play on ladder. If we get some decent ritual decks, maybe BLS as well can use it as well. That could be kind of fun. Then we have a double normal summon, which if you saw the skill leaks, right, you'd be like, wait, this wasn't in there. And that's right, because this skill was leaked years ago. It's been in the game files for literally years, which means we could see Konami give out some of the 5Ds and Zexal skills we've had in the game files for years now, at any given point in time, which is really, really cool. So this is basically giving you an additional summon of a normal monster in your hand, in addition to your normal summon set. It does have to be normal summons, or normal monster, sorry. So you can't use it to summon another effect monster, and I think this won't work with what they call with Geminis, because I believe Geminis are only normal monsters in the graveyard and on the field. So in your hand, they won't matter. You know, they won't count as a valid target, which is kind of crappy. Maybe there's a chance this could see play. If that's how it works, it might not work that way, and if it does work with Geminis, then great. But there could be some cool stuff with this. I'm not too sure where it would be, but you know, maybe Skull Servants again could use this as well. But the 1500 life point cost is kind of not really what you want to be having in that deck in particular. Then we have Monster Encounter. So this one as well is kind of good for Skull Servants because it can get you out a guaranteed Skull Servant from your graveyard. It's again kind of RNG based, right? You set a Fiend type or Zombie type non-effect monster from your hand to the graveyard, roll a dice 2 times, and then play one of the same type from your graveyard based on its level or rank, depending on what you roll, right? So that's fine. It's just, again, it's a bit risky. It's a bit high risk, high reward. But if you're playing Skull Servants, then you're going to get it off every time. So I guess in that deck it's fine, but anything else, it's not really. It does require normal Fiends, so that's going to limit it, you know, a lot. Which means, really, it is a Skull Servant skill, and a pretty decent one at that. And finally for new skills, we have Occult Maniac. if you have 5 more Fiend type or Summon types with different names in your deck, you'll have an improved starting chance of having them in your hand, but you can't special summon or activate monster effects until the end of the main phase of the first turn. Why did it need that restriction on it? This really wasn't... I guess so that you can't just play 5 Fiends and that's it in your deck, but I don't know what deck would even run it like that. This skill just seems like it's a skill that exists just to have a skill here, and doesn't really do anything. Not even fun, it just doesn't really do anything. We are missing his best skill from the leaks, which was the one that kind of revolves around Dark Necrophyr and Curse Necrophyr, so when his rerun event comes around, that's going to be good. But honestly, the best skill here is the original one, the Diorama one. This one by far is the best skill here. So overall, Bakura is a bit of a mixed bag, right? You know, I would like to see them go back to just 1 ticket if they have to. Hopefully none, but 1 ticket would be great. But I feel like that they're going to keep doing this flip-floppy thing where some characters will be 6 tickets, some will be 3, some will be 1. And over time, that just means less rewards, less cards for us to get. And it just feels kind of bad, right? That's kind of it. I hope they kind of improve, because they've done the whole change to the login bonus, right? Giving us tickets there. So why give us tickets there if you're then going to change your character level ups to have tickets? I would much prefer, if I'm giving constructive feedback, right, if one of these was a skill ticket, right, for any Bakura skill or any skill in the game. That could be cool. That'd be great. I'd like that one. Or if the whole card pool here was completely changed to be brand new, unique cards you can only get via leveling up characters, and they're like this generic pool of cool staple cards, right? Maybe there are a bunch of cards that are limited to one in the game, and that's how you give them out, is you say, you know what, with every brand new character, you get a chance at one of these really cool exclusive cards, and you have to really think about which one you want. That could be pretty cool, like, you know, maybe not Monster Reborn level, right? But along those lines, give some really cool cards in these tickets that make leveling up characters feel worthwhile again. I think that'd be pretty cool. So, or even if you have to, make them limited to a certain format or event, right? It's like these cards can only be used in a future event or something. That could be cool. But yeah, that is my thoughts on Bakura and Duel Links. Kind of okay, you know, I'm of course looking forward to playing with the Summoners Art and Dark Magician, seeing if that makes any difference. It probably doesn't, but I'm on some coping it's going to, so yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next Duel Links video. See you then.